and welcome to If I Rule the World, the show which features the biggest bunch of political comedians outside the European Commission. And this week, joining Graeme on the blue team is Sue Perkins, and the red team we have Tony Hawks and Hugh Dennis. Jeremy Hardy's away this week, and you've stepped in. Are you officially the deputy leader?
Yes, well, I've stepped up. I've taken on the role of leader now, but
yes.
As you know, I've been very reluctant to do this.
Of course.
I don't want to be. I've never wanted to be party leader, but if there was a groundswell of public opinion insisting that I come back week on week, all I can say is I live quite near, I've got my own transport. You wouldn't have to send a car or anything.
Oh, I see.
We do, however, rather resent the idea that we might be trying to foment division within the party, because we are both very firmly behind Jeremy.
You are?
The dipsomaniac womaniser.
OK, of course, Jeremy Hardy will be back next week, but let's kick off with State of the Nation. We've asked our audience a series of questions. All our teams have to do is suggest the most popular answers. Getting to you first, Tony. The question for the audience on this one was, how will the world end?
I'd say probably with a bang. So,
yes.
Certainly when I hear about it, I'll be straight on to my secretary, I can tell you that.
Yes.
I think it might even end in the next half hour, Clive, which would be an interesting test of whether you can still get the last word in, like you like to do. But no, really, I think basically...
So you were hoping to come back next week, then?
I was.
Yes,
I've completely blown that.
Yes,
now.
you have.
I'd probably have to blow something else to come back as well. But I think, given the way the Americans rule the world pretty much these days, and the way Hollywood influences American public opinion, I think if the world was to end, it would have to end leaving room for a sequel.
Right.
I think we shouldn't actually be too negative about the end of the world. It does have positive aspects as well.
Yes. It's quite a task for the spin doctor, though, to spin something positive out of that.
It will, for example, stop people saying, cheer up, it's not the end of the world.
Yeah. The question was, how will it end?
Looking at the people here, I think they'll probably say the world will end with somebody going, "My God, don't press that but!"
My God, don't press that but.
Yes. I think 8% will say that.
OK, all right, so let's see what the actual answer was. The most popular answer was, how will the world end? Alien invasion, 17%. Other answers suggested it was with a penalty shootout. There's another nice one, and they all lived happily ever after. Or my personal favourite, the world would end with, here's Suzanne Charlton with the weather. So, let's go over to you, Graeme. The question we posed to the audience this time was, what should you never eat? So what would you answer to that?
Well, you should never eat with your mouth open.
How do you get the food in there?
So that the boring options, really. Beef on the bone, people, GM foods, I suppose, is what they've gone for.
What should you never eat? Human flesh. So you toyed with that. You almost got that, but you left that on the side of the plate, unfortunately. 30% people have said that, which is comforting, isn't it? If we happen to get stuck in here, the door's jammed. That just beat doner kebabs as... other things, I don't understand the sort of more bizarre answers. This one's apparently you shouldn't eat yellow snow. Hugh, the next question was, what's the worst thing about living in the countryside?
Well, I personally love the countryside. Yes. I love the traditions of the countryside. Where else, for example, can you hear that lovely noise of leather against willow as the local farmer beats a BSE-ridden cow to death with a stick? And...
don't you represent a rural constituency?
No.
No, you don't.
And I know a lot of people enjoy those long, hot weeks in the country waiting for their bus to arrive. But perhaps my leader might have... what's the worst thing about, my future leader, Lick Lick?
Using his Chinese name there for some reason. Have you got some suggestion here for your colleague?
Worst thing about the countryside? Sheep. And the way they tease.
Possibly the answer to the worst thing about living in the countryside is working in the city. Because it takes a hell of a long time to get there.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to press you now for which of these answers you're going to say...
I would say commuting.
Commuting. I don't have much faith in this being the most popular answer. Well, I know what it is anyway, but anyway, let's look, see what the answer was from the audience. The smell. You didn't even come close to that. That just beat Nothing to Do. Posh people in wax jackets driving 4x4s. Being woken at 5 in the morning by your next-door neighbour's cock. That's... I'm not sure what that's about. Anyway...
It certainly gives you something to do, doesn't it?
It certainly does. Certainly does. Sue Perkins, what's the worst thing about living in the city? That was the question.
Life in the city is very difficult for a start to park your tractor in the city. There's not an awful lot of spaces. Combine harvest, for instance, there's a lot of rules regulating when they can be used after dark. Hard to worry sheep without obviously getting a criminal record. Fox hunting, again, very difficult to host in an urban environment,
yes.
Namely because by the time the beagles have got to the fox, it's usually been machine gunned by the local children.
Fair enough. What about urban things, the worst things?
I think the difference between the countryside and urban areas, the problem is that in the countryside everyone's your family, quite literally, in some enclaves of Devon, I believe. I think if I was to opt for one thing that I don't know, I'll have to confer, but I think possibly pollution from the 4x4s. Yes, of people travelling from the country.
I think the worst thing about living in a city is visiting friends in the country.
Yeah.
Are you saying pollution?
I'll go for pollution.
Pollution. Well, this is what the audience said. What's the worst thing about living in the city? The smell. Bizarrely enough, the same answer about that. So pollution's fairly close there, so that's not bad. Other people said the worst thing about living in the city was posh people in wax jackets driving 4x4s. Bumping into Vanessa Feltz in Sainsbury's, somebody answered. I think that's a bit too particular.
Which isn't hard, actually, because she could cover most of the surface area of one aisle, but...
Oh, very sisterly, I must say. Somebody else said the worst thing living in the city was you can get Channel 5. So, anyway, well done, the audience. I think you've foxed the panel there, so you give yourself a round of applause. We go on to the round which tests out our panel's ability to avoid answering a straight question with a straight answer. Should anybody use the words yes or no in the course of this round, we'll hear this noise, and that person will be eliminated, and we keep going till somebody wins. Hugh, I'm going to ask you about the recent news report. Why were you in the Thai brothel?
I wasn't in the Thai brothel. My Thai isn't sexually active.
When you were questioned by the police, did you knock a few years off your age?
Possibly.
Did you knock anything else off?
Certainly.
Will you be going again?
Probably.
Is your wife standing by you?
Not as far as I can see.
Was she standing by you when you were in the Thai massage parlour?
In the Thai massage parlour?
Yes. Was she there?
I was blindfolded.
Are you expecting him to resign?
You're coming to me now, are you, Clive?
I am coming to you. Are you happy with that?
I'm happy with you coming to me, if I can use those words loosely.
You can use those words loosely or tightly?
I'll use them loosely.
Well, let's talk about the Lennox Lewis fight. Do you think it was fixed?
Fight. I'm not really very interested. I'm a politician. I think that punching the living daylights out of someone is something that wouldn't appeal to me.
But aren't you the sports minister?
I may have been in the past. I'm the bloody leader now.
Until a second ago, you had responsibility for the sport.
I was interested in sport then, yes.
Sue, are you interested in sport?
I have some natural inclination towards...
Do you follow boxing?
I don't follow it in the sense I don't hang around in coaches travelling to fights.
No, but do you like Lennox Lewis?
I like the shorts.
The shorts?
Yes, the shorts.
So, do you think Graeme, would you think it'd be a good idea to have a millennium baby?
Personally, I couldn't.
Is this the best week to conceive a millennium baby?
March the 25th, I think, is the night.
The French say April the 1st.
They're just joking. They're trying to steal a march on us.
If everybody... if everybody decides to have a millennium baby, will the hospitals be able to cope?
Absolutely not.
What are you going... Are you taking responsibility for this?
Absolutely not.
What do you mean by absolutely not? Do you mean no?
Absolutely not.
Who's still in? Are you still in, Tony?
No.
Oh, no. Hugh,
I can say it now.
Hugh, you're still in, aren't you?
I believe so.
Have you been on any fact-finding trips abroad?
I've been on abroad in a massage parlour.
Were you shocked by the report that half of all Britain's 6-year-olds have their own television?
I was shattered.
Yeah. Do you think this is something a politician should do something about?
I think a politician should.
And are you that politician?
Absolutely not.
Am I ever going to get you out of this game ever again?
No.
Hugh Dennis is the winner, so well done.